Hey everyone, the Game Piece here, and welcome to the next competitive analysis video in the series where I go over various TV builds, various moves you should be using, and overall what a Temtem is capable of. Today I'm going to be giving you a competitive analysis of Kalabyss, so let's get into it everyone. Kalabyss is a water and toxic type Temtem that can be found extremely early in the game on Denny's Island. This Temtem is going to be very good at taking hits from fire types, water types, and earth types. However, it's going to take super effective damage from nature types, electric types, as well as wind types. Kalabyss has some pretty good all-around stats. It's extremely high HP as well as very high defense stat, with 100 being the third highest base defense stat in the entire game. A very strong base attack of 75. However, its other stats seem to suffer, especially its special defense, which is something that you're going to have to be mindful of, especially because Kalabyss wants to be more so built as a support or tank. This is why it's especially important to watch out for any sort of special wind type moves with it taking any double effective wind type damage, and wind type moves are more than likely going to hit you for super effective special type damage. Kalabyss can have one of two traits, the first one being Botanophobia, which when attacked with a nature type technique, it will increase its damage done to Kalabyss by 50%. And the second trait that Kalabyss is capable of having is Loneliness, which when it has that trait, it won't be capable of using any synergies with its allies. So overall, what trait you pick I think depends on what kind of team you're going for and what build you're going for on your Kalabyss. Personally, I'm more of a fan for Botanophobia because Kalabyss does have a lot of options to use synergies with its ally, but it's really ultimately up to you. Now let's go over some notable moves that Kalabyss can learn. The first one I want to go over is Strangle, which is a neutral type 25 base damage move with no holds on it that Kalabyss is capable of learning. When Strangle is used on an opposing Temtem, it will lock them up in position for the next turn. So if they try to go for an attack the next turn, they won't be able to do anything, provided your Kalabyss stays on the field. However, the opposing Temtem is still able to swap out, meaning that you have to determine if they're going to swap out, as you can go for an attack if they do decide to swap out. This is a very good move for shutting down things like a sweeper that's potentially going to KO you the next turn, allowing you to bring in a threat as well as pressure to switch out. The next move I'd like to go over is High Pressure Water, which is a 50 base power water type move with one hold on it. Now this move is great because if you pair it up with a fire type and get the synergy effect, you're able to burn the opponent for 2 turns. Now burn status is a pretty beneficial status in this game to apply to an opposing Temtem. If you didn't know, the burn status decreases the attack and special attack by 30% for that Temtem as long as they have a burn stack on it. And the last move I'd like to go over is called Flood. This is a one hold move that Kalabyss is capable of learning. It also has a synergy with an earth type, so if you use the move with the synergy, you're going to be able to lower the speed on the opposing allies team for everyone on that side of the field by 2 stages. Without the synergy, you only lower it by 1 stage, however that's still pretty beneficial. Temtem that I recommend you pairing Kalabyss up with would be Volcrane. First and foremost, Volcrane can take advantage of all of the synergies that Kalabyss wants to have on its support set. Things like High Pressure Water for the fire synergy, Flood will get the earth synergy. Really just an overall good combination to pair together. Another option I would say would be something like Rise, to be able to again take advantage of the synergy with High Pressure Water for the burn, as well as getting the speed drops through Demoralize and Floods. Temtem that you need to make sure to watch out for are obviously any sort of strong wind type threats, like Volarend is definitely a very prominent threat for Kalabyss. Kalabyss can't really do a whole lot to a Volarend, as well as things like electric types like Gazuma or even Nesla are capable of doing damage to Kalabyss. Electric types aren't as prominent though as wind types in the metagame at the moment, so I'd say the major threats you're going to have to look out for are things like Volarend, Barnshee, Whiplup, any sort of strong wind type user. Now I'd like to go over a moveset that I've come up with for Kalabyss. This is a base set to get you started. The trait I've gone with is Botanophobia, as this Kalabyss has a lot of synergy moves that it wants to take advantage of. The moves I've given this Kalabyss is High Pressure Water for that burn synergy, Strangle to be able to eliminate the move turn, Flood to get the synergy as well as lower the opposing team's speed, and Toxic Ink to get some toxic stacks if you need to wear down an opposing tank. The item I have on Kalabyss is the Coat item. The Coat is going to reduce super effective wind type damage by 20% going into Kalabyss, so this is a very good item for keeping Kalabyss on the field for a longer period of time. The TV build I decided to go is maxing out the HP stat, as the attacks from both sides of the physical and special chart are going to take advantage of that HP stat there. I've also decided to max out its special defense, as most attacks that Kalabyss is going to be taking threateningly are going to be special moves. You do have the option of building more of a defensive Kalabyss, however this is just what I'm recommending. The rest of the points, the 13 points, are going into the defense slot to be able to get an extra point in that slot. This moveset is generally built around supporting, so if you have a synergy with stuff like I said, like a Volcrane or a Rise, it's going to be very well for you to pull off those synergies and get some very strong status effects as well as stat drops on the opposing field. field. On the grand scheme of things, I will be placing Kalabyss on the A tier. Now, this might be kind of controversial, but I really do think Kalabyss is a very, very good Temtem that not a lot of things are capable of countering, unless you have a very dedicated, strong attacking wind type, and even then, you can dispose of that pretty easily with other threats. As long as you know what you're doing with Kalabyss and what you want to accomplish and what things to look out for, I'd say Kalabyss is one of the better Temtems that you're capable of adding to your team at this point in time. So definitely don't sleep on Kalabyss as a whole. I think Kalabyss is an extremely, extremely good tank, extremely good wall. It eats up the majority of hits that it ends up taking, and then speaking from someone that's used Kalabyss since the game has come out. So there's definitely some things that you need to be mindful for with Kalabyss, but overall I do really, really enjoy using this Temtem in competitive play. But that does it for this week's competitive analysis on Kalabyss. Let me know what you guys think as a whole, as far as what Kalabyss is capable of. Are you guys thinking of adding one to your team? Have you already used one, or maybe you're training one up? Overall, like I said, I do really enjoy Kalabyss, and I can absolutely recommend it to pretty much everyone to use right now at this point in time in early access. But thank you guys so much for watching and for tuning into the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did like it, please feel free to leave a like down below, as well as subscribe for more Temtem content and guides such as this. Thank you guys again so much for watching and for the support, and I hope you guys have a great weekend.